Sarah is an entrepreneur. She is an agent extraordinaire, and she owns Debut Entertainment. She started it 4 years ago. A lot of her clients just call her Killer. She's ready to get in there and make everybody famous. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Sarah.
So I live in Nashville, but I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I've been in Nashville for 14 years, and this journey has been extremely crazy in a good way. Honestly, when I started this, I had no expectation of how it was going to be. I just kind of walked into it with an open mind, and just since I've been doing it, I mean, the time that I've been doing this since January. I started in January of 2020, just before the pandemic hit.
Not a difficult time at all.
No, not at all. And I saw it as a silver lining because I had all the promoters. I had a captive audience. I had everybody at my fingertips. So instead of me having to go to all these Comic Cons, I had everybody at home right in front of me, so it was a lot easier for me just to reach out to them that way instead of me having to go out of these Comic Cons and spend my own money on this kind of stuff. So it was definitely my silver lining. That's where I found it as it's very a huge advantage to me.
So I know you had mentioned to me before we got in this room that you had a little bit of a background before you started.
I did. So I started out as a personal assistant to Guy Gilchrist. He was Jim Henson's cartoonist. So
that had to have been amazing.
It was.
Talk about a crash course in how to do this, right?
It was. But I figured out that I could be more than just somebody's assistant. I had the drive and the definitely aptitude to do a lot more. And
That's
it's kind of fortuitous today. So when I was in the lobby this morning, taking Charlie after we were done taking for a walk, ran into a puppy and their owners, and then these two women came up, and I was talking with them, told them about Shao Kahn, and the one woman, this very unassuming woman, older lady, I introduced myself to her and I told her that I was an agent. Her name is Gail Melnick. She was one of the head execs for NBC back in the day, and a casting director.
Oh no, that's so funny.
And so it was kind of fortuitous that I met her. And she also discovered Joan Rivers and Bill Cosby.
Shut up,
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I told her about me, what I do. She goes, well, what do you do? And I said, I was a talent agent. She was like, oh my goodness. She goes, that is so amazing. She goes, I said, you're inspirational. She goes, no, you're inspirational. She goes, it's refreshing to know that you're doing something like this. And then I find out that she's, of course, the last name Melnick is a Jewish last name.
Right.
So, and I'm Jewish. So it's kind of refreshing to know that there are Jewish women ahead of me doing this, and that I'm continuing that as a Jewish person and as a Jewish woman. So
did you exchange numbers?
No,
I mean, there's got to be a book up there somehow, right?
We took a selfie together.
Oh, that's nice.
But she's definitely way out of the business.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's
I thought maybe she was here because
no, she was just here. I don't know
business
what she was here for, but,
Okay.
but yeah. Anyways,
Because as you know, Atlanta has become the new hub of Hollywood.
Yes, it has.
Hollywood. I know that they're coming up with new names for us to be like Hollywood. I'm not sure what it is now.
Well, it's always been Hotlanta.
Well, no, Atlantans don't like Hotlanta. It is hot. I will not lie, but no, we don't like that name.
Come here, lay down, Charlie.
No, Charlie's okay. I don't mind smushing with him as long as he doesn't drink my Mountain Dew. Probably not good for him. So tell us a little bit more about your company, and I know you've got a great little speech.
I do have a speech prepared, so it's my little TED Talk. So let me just kind of get into that, and then if we'll open up to questions after I'm done with my little speech, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, let me take you back to the beginning of my career, where it all started as a personal assistant to brilliant Guy Gilchrist, Jim Henson's cartoonist. It was a very exciting role, traveling with him to Comic Cons, but there was something else going on that I didn't fully realize at the time. Celebrities kept coming up to me asking me, seriously, they would come up to me and go, who are you? Like, what do you do? Who are you here with? And I would have to tell them, go through my little spiel and tell them who I was. But this curiosity became a pivotal moment in my life, planting the seed of a future I hadn't yet envisioned. Like many, I initially tried to follow a traditional path. I approached established talent agencies and handlers, hoping to join their ranks. I wanted to learn the ropes to be part of their system, but they ignored me. No one opened the door. That's when I realized something important. Sometimes success isn't about following the traditional route. It's about creating your own path when the conventional one doesn't work out. I knew I was capable of more than being just someone's assistant, so I took a leap of faith. In January of 2020, I launched Debut Entertainment.
I was bringing him water so he wouldn't drink my Mountain Dew. I'm so sorry.
Charlie.
Charlie, you don't need Mountain Dew. I promise you some water.
He was here for it.
Oh my God.
Or die.
We're gonna give him a...
Charlie's gonna be watching you soon.
Yeah, really. He already does.
Okay, he was thirsty. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. He's good.
Since then, I built my agency to represent over 100 clients in 4.5 years.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
It started out with one, and then it kind of just exploded.
When you got it, you got it.
That's for sure. But what I've learned along the way is that success isn't always a straight line. There's no single right way to achieve it. For me, it meant embracing a non-traditional path, starting a business when no one gave me a shot, learning through experience rather than formal training, and trusting my instincts over industry norms. Success can come from breaking the mold, from going beyond expectations. I've made it my mission to go above and beyond for my clients, proving that it's not just about where you start, but how determined you are to keep moving forward. And that's why I got the nickname Killer. This journey has shown me that sometimes the key isn't in someone else's door, it's in having the courage to build your own. And that's what non-traditional paths are all about, creating opportunities where none existed and trusting yourself enough to follow a path less traveled.
Beautiful, I love it. So you mentioned that you have 100 clients.
I do.
I'm curious what they do, how you represent them, and what kind of where they are in the industry.
Well, a lot of them are. So I'm a comic convention agent, but I'm trying to kind of branch out to do other things. I don't want to pigeonhole myself. But most of my clients are on-screen actors in a lot of anime. I didn't realize that I'd be knee-deep in anime because I didn't grow up watching anime. I was past that. I basically just book them for comic convention appearances and make sure that everything's taken care of from A to Z. You know, I'm very hands-on throughout the whole process, making sure that their flights everything is what they want and to their specifications, and I travel with them and make sure that everything is running smoothly.
That's fantastic. So just personally, I'm very curious about this part of the industry. So are you representing them? Do you represent them, or do you represent the Comic Cons?
I represent the clients. I don't represent the Comic Cons. So the Comic Cons, I reach out to promoters and tell them who I am. I email them. A lot of them I'm friends with on Facebook. So whenever I get a new client, I make an announcement, and sometimes they'll reach out to me directly, or through Messenger, or I get emails. It just depends on who it is.
Mm-hmm. So for instance, I know we all know Comic Con, we all know Dragon Con. I know there's a lot of other cons.
There are
How many
hundreds.
are? That's what I was going to ask. Is what kind of cons are there in the United States?
So I represent a broad spectrum of clients, anywhere from, like I said, on-screen to anime voice actors. To one of my clients is Adasa, the voice of Dolores from Encanto. So
I see everybody knows who that is.
So she kind of, she's done anime cons, she's done pop culture cons. So just like I try to see where everybody fits, but they kind of fit, in
different places.
A lot of different places. But like horror cons, I've done one horror con. That's a whole different breed.
Where is it?
Yeah, it is.
They're all
You've
over.
been to one?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a broad spectrum of them, but the one that I went to was Halloween 45, which is an anniversary of the movie Halloween. So they do it every 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's like a
Sweating just thinking about it.
There are a lot of Michael Myers. But it's a different breed of people. But it was fun. It was fun. It was her first con ever. She was, how old is she? She's in her 80s, and it was her first con ever.
Oh wow!
And so it was like a reunion. She hadn't seen these people in over 40 years. Her castmates in over 40 years.
That's amazing.
So it was. She was dressed to the nines. She went all out. Because I was like, well, you can, just be comfortable. She goes, oh no. She goes, I am going all out. And I was like, okay, whatever you want to do. And she did go all out. She wore a dress, like a black dress, hat, everything.
I love it.
And the fans loved it. So, but yeah, it was like her eyes, watching her experience it was like watching it through a child. Because she was like, everything was so new to her, and she was just loving every minute of it. So that's why I love doing what I do, because all my clients experience it in a different way. And it's like with Adasa, like she had never done it before, so doing my first event with her, we did it at a friend's store in San Antonio, and like she was just so happy, she was so pleased, and it was just like seeing her interact and having that impact on people was just so amazing, and it just made me love what I get to do. I get to bring happiness and joy to all these people. I get to
Meet their heroes.
let them have that experience.
I was going to
Be
say
the
you're bringing
catalyst.
this talent
Right.
and their fans come together.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be joy for everybody, including you.
It is. I mean, and I get to hear some stories. I mean, of course, you hear the same questions over and over again during the Q&A panels. But overall, like it's just facilitating to being able to bring that joy to people is just it's like nothing else.
That's amazing.
It's pleasurable to but it's a lot of hard work. I mean, I make it look glamorous, and a lot of people tell me when I tell them what I do, they think, oh, you get to work with celebrities, that's so cool. And it's like, yeah, it is, but it's a lot of hard work on the back end. I mean, it really is. I mean, I did a lot of, before I started this, I did a lot of like administrative work, office work and stuff like that. So I'm really proficient in that stuff. So that really helps too.
Being organized.
Yes.
Helps a lot, I'm sure.
Very organized. And don't ask me how I can remember all my clients' names, but I can. And remember most of the shows that they're in. But I always get surprised. There's some, they'll be like, oh, I'm in a new show. And I'm like, what show are you in? And so it's like and I'll be like, oh, I didn't realize you were in this. As a matter of fact, actually, I was watching Fallout. Have y'all seen Fallout?
Mm-hmm.
So one of my clients, Eric Estrada, he's in one of the episodes. He's in episode 7.
I'm old enough to know who he is.
And I'm
Not because
watching
of
it.
what you guys do.
And I'm
not
watching
what you
it.
guys like.
I'm watching it, and I went, holy crap, I know this guy. So I texted him, and I was like, why didn't you tell me you were in Fallout? And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I was in Fallout. Or I'll watch like random shows, I'll see him in it, and I just kind of laugh. But it's just really, I can't say that I'm lucky, because I'm not, because I work really hard to be where I am. So I'm lucky because I persevered, a lot of perseverance and a lot of determination too. And the worst thing, like I hear a lot of no's, or I get a lot of people, like when I send out emails, a lot of people don't respond to my emails, and it's hard not to take it personal. But when I do hear back and I do book something for my clients, it's like you got to celebrate those little victories. You guys celebrate those wins.
Right. So I don't know about you guys, but this is fascinating to me, because I always thought that there's one agent per artist, but it sounds like you have different.
Multiple.
So they have multiple agents for different reasons.
Right.
So you're just concentrating on the con part.
Well,
someone's.
I have, but like I've booked. So fun story. So last year I was I don't know what I was doing, but I was doing whatever, and I looked at my phone and I had a missed call from Pixar.
Woo!
And I was like,
I would not have missed that call. I would have seen that on my phone.
So I called them back, and I was like, yeah, hey, I had a missed call from somebody, and they're like, oh yeah, we're interested in your, we're very interested in blah blah blah, and I was like, oh man, I gotta call him. I said he's gonna be so tickled pink, because I was his only contact. So I'm on a, it's called IMDb Pro. So, you know, International Movie Database. So there's an IMDb Pro, which is like the yellow pages for agents and celebrities. So I have a page on there, and I have most of my clients listed that are on there. So the one that they wanted was Kirk Thatcher, and I called Kirk and I was like, "You won't believe this." I said, "Pixar called me. The director handpicked you for this role."
Oh, how exciting!
Who's seen Inside Out 2?
Love it!
So you know the little blueberry guy, the little foreman? That's him.
Oh, so
The
adorable.
mustache?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
him.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
I booked him for that role.
How exciting
So
is that?
I'm not just a con agent.
That's why I was
Pixar.
asking.
Yeah, Pixar. So that's what happened. That was to have that relationship, you know, like to have my foot in the door with them and for them to know my name. That was just like, not that I was like, oh, I made it. You know, that wasn't like, oh, I've made it, you know, in the world. But it was just like, holy cow, like this is, like I never imagined it. Like I said, again, no expectation when I started this. You know, I knew, and I never know, and I don't have any background in business, no business background. All I've got was just, you know, just knowing how to talk to people, and that's something you can't teach. Either you got it or you don't. You don't. I genuinely tell people that I can talk myself out, you know, talk my way out of the bag, you know. So you just gotta know how to talk to people. You gotta know how to find that connection. You gotta, but you have to look. You have to look somebody in the eye, and you have to have their, you know,
Undivided attention and get them.
And act like, and be interested in that person. Show genuine interest in the other person, and, you know, and being able to build trust with them. And that's what it is with all my clients. You have to build trust with them because it's, and I tell them it's blind trust. It's a blind trust because they don't know me. I'm just some random person, but until they get to know me, you know, like building that trust is so important. So that's why communication is so important. Like, you know, and I make myself available to my clients pretty much 24/7.
Wow.
You know, unless if I'm sleeping or I'm sick. But like, in all honesty, like communication is key, like, and transparency is key. And that's how you build, you know, trust and rapport with people, and with businesses too, like with Pixar. Like anytime they, you know, sent me an email, you know, you can't sit on that stuff. And they appreciate that. They, you know, and you hear that. I hear things certain things consistently, how I have impeccable timing or it's serendipitous or whatever. You start hearing the same things over and over again, and then you know you're doing something right.
Right. I think those are all great life skills that I think a lot of our younger generation, this next generation doesn't have because of the texting world and technology making it. I heard my sister telling her son the other day, no, you gotta say thank you in the text because he was getting a call back for a basketball.
And I still write personal letters, like I still handwrite personal letters to people, even to my clients. I handwrite letters. Like I don't, like where was I? A couple weeks ago I was in Knoxville for a con, and I had two of my clients with me. One, she and I, Dotson and I from Nikonto, she and I are really good friends. But the other one, Brian Dobson, he's the voice of the evil Kid Boo. Yeah, so I bought them gifts, and I don't do this very often. So I bought them gifts, and I hand wrote cards to them, both of them. You know, and so a personal touch will go a long way. Words can only go so far because words, let me tell you, they're meaningless unless if there's meaning, like intent behind them. So, you know, the little things, the personal touches, like I send my clients Christmas cards or birthday cards, or one of my ex-clients, his son passed away recently, so I sent him a sympathy card. So the little things, and that is so important because we're so wrapped up in social media and phones and texting, which is so impersonal. But the little things go a long way. And it's not that I'm being, I'm not going out of my way. That's just me. That's just how I've always been. So that's so important. Anything you do, whether you pursue working with celebrities or anything you do in your daily life, even what you do now, whatever job you have, just, you know, it's so important that you are intentional in your actions and intentional in your words, because your words mean something. They have a point, and they leave a lasting mark on those people.
I think I heard someone say it's not what you do, but how you make people feel, or something like that. So, you know, always pay attention to how the person is reacting to what you're doing and saying, so that you know how to give back to them what they're looking
Exactly,
for.
and like I have clients here, there are people here that were clients that I'm still have a good relationship with. It's important that you always, if you know your business relationship doesn't work out for some reason, that you try to leave on good terms. And you know what? Once you've said your piece, you just kind of let it go. You can't hold on to it, you know. And if
It is business. It's never personal.
It is business. It's nothing personal. But you know, some people take that the wrong way. There's some people that I've had that have, like during the pandemic, well, when things were starting to open up again, and I had a client who called me. I called him and I told him that I just didn't want him to be his agent anymore because it just wasn't working out. And he, in a not very nice way, basically told me, "What have you done for me lately?" And I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "We're coming off a pandemic." And he used some expletives towards me, and I told him that I didn't tolerate that kind of, wasn't going to tolerate that kind of language, and then I ended the conversation. But you can't talk. But you don't have to tolerate it. You don't have to. Nobody deserves to be talked to that way. Nobody deserves.
So you're going to remember how he made you feel
Exactly.
for the rest of your life.
Exactly. But I mean,
Case
you're
in
gonna
point.
remember that. But still, and then to this day, like anytime I've seen him, like he ignores me.
Oh, good.
Good riddance.
But there's clients that I've had, clients that I no longer have on my roster, but I've seen him, because let me tell you, this arena is such a small world. Everybody knows everybody, and I've got friends all over. But anytime I go somewhere, I see clients I've had, or I know other people, whatever. But there's some people that'll go out of their way to say hi to me that I've never even met before, that I'm friends with on Facebook. Or I have an actor. I was in Denver last year, and I was at a hotel, and I was at the bar, and out of nowhere, I hear this guy telling me, "You're Sarah Douthit, aren't you?" And I went, okay. I was like, who are you? I've never met this guy before. And it was some poor actor, but he had heard my name. Or people will find me just by knowing my name. "Oh, I heard your name," And I get random emails sometimes, or random phone calls from people that want me to, be represented, that want me to represent them. And you have to be straight with people. I mean, that's how you build trust. You can't. Honestly, I can't lie anyways, but because that would go against every grain in my body. But I'm just saying that you have to, sometimes when it sucks, telling the truth sucks, but you have to tell it. That's how you build trust with people, and they'll remember that. Because not even my clients, but people that I've known even before, before I even started you, that knew me before that, have seen me, and they, I'm still and I'm friends with a lot of people. I'm friends with a lot of actors, but they support me, even though they're not clients. They still support me as friends because they see where I started and where I am now. And I came out of left field swinging, like with guns a-blazing. And a lot of people don't like that. The more attention you get, the more haters you're gonna have. And that's just part of life. That means that you're doing something right. So the more haters you have.
What'd you say?
Your haters are your biggest inspiration.
Yes, they are. So the more haters you have, the more people that are talking crap about you behind your back, that means that you're doing things right. And I've had to learn that. I've had to learn that the hard way, And it's not an easy pill to swallow, we tell you.
So your first client, how did you get started with that person?
My first client, so actually my first client was Arthur Burkhart. G.I. Joe voice actor.
Oh.
He was on Hill Street Blues. He was very popular in the 80s.
Okay, that's more my time.
G.I. Joe. Anyway, so I was at, was it GalaxyCon? Yeah, I was at GalaxyCon. So I was there I was the handler, or pretty much Brian O'Halloran's assistant for that weekend, because he and I were friends. And I was at going to the VIP party afterwards, and I was in the lobby of the hotel. And he approached me. Arthur approached me. I didn't know who he was. He approached me, and he was like, he asked me for my card, he asked me who I was, and then he saw my last name. He goes, "I'll never forget this." He looked at my card and he goes, "Douthit." He goes, "Are you related to politician Ross Douthit?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my ex-husband's distant cousin."
Oh.
Nobody, and so I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, take your time. You sound like you need some more.
Yeah, I did. So anyways, I gave him my business card and I didn't think anything of it. Because, you know, debut at that time was just a thought. It wasn't anything that I, you know. So he called me in January. I don't know where. It was I've learned zip codes very, very well, or area codes very, very well. So 310, that usually means Los Angeles. So I get a 310 call and I was like, who's calling? And so it was him, it was Arthur. And he was like, you know, he told me that he was dissatisfied with his current representation. He was looking for somebody else and he liked me.
That's amazing.
And he wanted to give me a go.
That is fantastic.
So that was a phone call.
Wow.
And then after that, like people just started hearing my name. They're like, oh, I've heard your name. Who are you? So it was just like a snowball effect. Like
Right.
after having that first one, and then it just was going.
Word of mouth. If you know people are
It
happy,
is.
they talk about you.
Well,
not just when they're mad at you.
Good, bad, ugly. If people are like, I've heard, who is this Sarah? And they hear bad about me. Who is this Sarah? And they meet me and they're like, oh my God, she's, you know, blah, 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 whatever. So anywhere I go, you know, people know me. I mean, people that I never even heard of know me. And that's what I want though. But that was my mission, was that I want the whole world to know my name.
So it's almost like, you know, we've got the famous people, everybody knows their name, and then there's you guys behind the scenes that you need all of the famous people to know your name.
Well, it's getting there. It's getting there. People that know, like, and just Hollywood agents too. I mean, I know some Hollywood agents, you know, that I become friends with, and honestly, I saw one at Dragon Con recently, and there had been some miscommunication with something, and I felt really bad. Like, I felt really, really bad because he and I had a really good relationship, and I went on my way, and I was like, I said, I just wanted to apologize to you. I said, I'm so sorry about what happened, you know. And he was like, oh my God, thank you so much he goes, I never thought that, but thank you so much. So you have to, like, your character, like,
Yeah.
you're, you know, everything that you are, you know, if something was misconceived or misconstrued, you have to, like, fix that. You know, I've had to do that damage control a lot. That's part of my job, is damage control. I have to go out of my way to fix things because that's my reputation on the line. And not only does that reflect my reputation, reflect on me, it reflects on my brand, on debut entertainment, and my clients. And same with my clients, whatever they post on social media, that's a reflection of me and my brand. So I tell them that it's a partnership.
Right.
It's not a one-sided relationship. I mean, I don't mind busting my tail and getting my hands dirty, but it's a partnership. It goes both ways. So I can't tell them. I had one client that was one of my first clients that was very controversial, like politically.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, you have to be really, really careful about what you post because anything you post is a reflection on me. And I'm not their mother, you know, I can't tell them what to do, and I'm not gonna, you know, be like, well, if you post this, I'm gonna drop you as a client. But like, they have to be aware and conscientious of it, and I'm very aware and conscientious of it. And that's why I rarely post anything personal. And if it's something, it's usually mostly business or about Charlie.
Yeah.
But
well, Charlie's a sweetheart.
Yes,
Nobody can take that wrong.
he's the celebrity now.
That's actually a really good word to the wise. Careful what you put out there, because if it doesn't bite you now, it could come back to bite you in the future. So, oh, you look like you were about to raise your hand. You know.
Just had a